to the Scam Slam channel. I'm here to bring you content from both shady and some not so shady individuals on TikTok. Ever scrolled through your For You page and come across a sketchy scam or a questionable character? Well, you're not alone, and that's where I come in. On this channel, I'll be diving deep into the world of TikTok to expose scams, scammers, and problematic content to steer clear of. From beggars, scammers, fakers, liars, abusers, and awareness creators that you watch, I'll be here to share it all. I'll be doing it all through showing live streams and adding in comments where appropriate. Be sure to look out for those red flags. So if you want to stay informed on what's really going on in the world of TikTok, then hit that subscribe button and join me on this wild ride. Let's expose the truth together, and reminder, don't send money to anyone on TikTok.
Hello, give me a second. I'm just trying to send this. If it would fucking cooperate, it would be amazing. You know, gotta love when your phone doesn't want to fucking cooperate. Sorry. Just Lord have mercy. Hello, give me just a second. I think that's, people can find me, I don't give a shit. Hello. I didn't mean I didn't give a shit, but there's some things going on, and I'm not a very happy camper right now. Just breathe. So, I got a phone call from the surgeon's office. Now, my surgery isn't supposed to be... It's minor surgery. They're just taking my stimulator out because I was misdiagnosed, right? Which I should have had out as soon as possible immediately, and that was months ago. All I have to do, I wouldn't even be completely sedated. Just go in, take it out. It's right under the skin. They're not taking the leads out, nothing. Because we had a miscommunication about medication and how the seriousness of the surgery, all that, right? So, last week, or prior week, something like that, I had several conversations. So we talked, and when I spoke with the doctor, I told him why I have anxiety when it comes to hospitals and doctors and everything, and so he knew that I'm in the files. Here's the fucking problem. They call and tell me today that the anesthesiologist doesn't feel comfortable with doing my surgery at the day center. So I need to have it done Monday at the hospital. The fuck? What? I was like, wait a minute. I said, are you putting me completely to sleep? No, you'll be in twilight stage. Okay. Then why would it need to be done at the actual hospital when you told me it didn't need to be done there? So they tell me because the surgeon, or not the surgeon, but the anesthesiologist doesn't feel comfortable because they don't know they'll be able to, control my pain after the surgery. The stimulator is right under the skin. They're just cutting it open and taking it out. They're not cutting into muscle or anything. But they don't feel... But they anesthesiologist... Right? Doctor calls me, tells me the same fucking bullshit. And here's why I say it's bullshit. Because then I called the main hospital. I asked for the surgeries, whatever, to post it, I talked to pre-op. Now, if, in fact, this was actually legit, it would have been put in the file, correct? It would have been put in my file that This was that the anesthesiologist didn't feel comfortable, correct? Right? Right. I talked to pre-op. Pre-op asked me for I give my information. I tell them what I was told. And they go, so-and-so told you this? Very confused. Because evidently it's not in the file. Huh. Yeah. They're like, we'll have somebody call you back. No idea. So I call and I talk to the supervisor or whatever of that surgeon's office. She gives me a completely different BS excuse. The day surgery place isn't equipped to do that type of surgery. What the fuck type of surgery? This is minor surgery. I've had stitches before. I'm willing to put money on the fact that if he had not known that I was in those files, and then that this never would have happened. Because why are you trying to have me do major surgery or minor surgery at the hospital when you said that wasn't even necessary? And why am I getting different excuses as to why? And I'm being recorded again. Go ahead, record me, bitch. I don't give a fuck. Live stream me, I don't give a fuck. So, surgery is completely canceled, and I need to find a new surgeon or wait till I go over to the UK and deal with that and take care of it when I take care of it. Because then after me, it's like, this is malpractice to begin with. Number one, they're lying to a patient. Why are you lying to me? Why are you giving me different excuses, and why are you talking down to me like you're better than me? That ain't gonna fucking fly with me either. So my major surgery, where all they have to do is go through the skin to take the stimulator out, had to be done at a major hospital? Because all of a sudden, and why are you just notifying me 2 days? This doesn't make sense. Because it was scheduled back in January for me to have it, to have the surgery done on Friday. The only difference is the doctor found out that so my question is, what had they planned? So then after everything's said and done, they didn't tell me anything about not doing the surgery at all. I found out when I looked at the app. No. Then I spoke with the supervisor again, who is mentally stuck in high school where she had her glow up and was popular, thinking that she could bully people and that kind of thing. They are no longer comfortable doing my surgery, so it's been canceled completely. So I guess that's best, at least I know nothing's going to happen to me. But still, what the fuck? I was supposed to have this minor surgery just to get this thing removed. Why would I have to have it at the hospital all of a sudden? Why would anesthesiology be worried that they wouldn't be able to control my pain if they're just going through and taking it out and stitching me up? And not notifying me till 2 days before surgery when it was scheduled for over a month, about a month now. Over a month for it to be done on this 2 days from now. And then get different BS excuses as to why. Only difference is what I told the doctor. Because of my anxiety and why hospitals and doctors freak me out. It's just to get my gastric stimulator removed. They were leaving the leads in and everything. Just open up where where they had the incisions before. That's where they always go in. They open it up. They disconnect it. They take it out. It's very simple. Very simple. They weren't even going to sedate me. I would be in a twilight state. So they weren't even going to put me completely to sleep. And you're telling me that, I've had laparoscopies at day surgeries. But you're telling me all of a sudden that I have to have it at the actual hospital. Why? Exactly. If it's not major surgery, you're not knocking me out. Why? But they give me different excuses as to why. And the only difference is, I let it be known that to him why I have anxiety and stress when it comes to doctors and hospitals. And how the fight or flight mode that I get into at certain hospitals at certain times. And so a week later, he yes, that's not suspicious at all, is it? So yeah, surgery's been completely canceled now, and I have to find a new surgeon. Which is fine by me, because too many fucking red flags. I'm pissed off because I want it done and over with. But at the same time, yes I have. I told everybody to watch it. They'll know what's about to happen. They'll know what's coming. That was last year. Why is it I can't find a good doctor that's not corrupt? Or on a payroll? Or money hungry? I can't trust any fucking doctor to tell them anything. Because then this happens. A simple fucking surgery that I fuck. Just like I can't tell my new doctor. Because what happened with my old doctor, that just, people will do anything for money, including doctors. And surgeons. And for anyone that still doesn't believe me, you got problems. Because that's a you motherfucking problem. I don't care if anyone believes me or not anymore. Okay, so calls me today and tells me, the nurse practitioner calls me. Tells me that the anesthesiologist didn't feel comfortable doing the surgery at the day center, so it had to be moved to Monday to the regular hospital, because he wasn't sure they would be able to control my pain after surgery. Are you talking about Beetlejuice? You talking about Lydia from Beetlejuice or what? But she wasn't an aunt. I'm confused. Who's Aunt Lydia? Do I need to look this up? Oh. Aunt Lydia. Wait a minute. Are you trying to insult me? That's cute. That's nice. Okay, so here's the thing. No, it doesn't. Because this surgery has been scheduled for over a month. So it's a basic procedure. It's all they're doing, because I was misdiagnosed with gastroparesis. So all they were doing was going in, because the reason the stimulator sticks out of my stomach is because it's like in a little, like right under the skin. Right under the 7 layers of skin. In a little pocket, right? That's where it sits. All they have to do is go through that incision, take it out, sew me up. That's it. So, supposedly, the anesthesiologist is worried they won't be able to control my pain after surgery. I've had laparoscopies at day surgeries places. You're not going through the muscle or anything to take it out. So that was the first excuse. Because I called the surgery place and I talked to pre-op, and it's just to remove the stimulator because I was misdiagnosed with gastroparesis. So I've had a stomach stimulator this whole time, and it's supposed to be removed. The company said it needed to be removed as soon as possible. That was months ago. Excuse me. Basic procedure, because I even asked with the medication thing, I even said, well, if you're not going to control my pain medication, send me with proper medication at home, because they didn't even tell me it wasn't that major until that day. I said, no. They were going to prescribe me gabapentin, ibuprofen, and Tylenol, which I'm like, we're not doing that. I didn't realize it wasn't as serious as major surgery as it was before, because they're not going through muscle, they're none like that. So I even talked last week. I said, okay, if you're not going to send me home with the proper medication that I can handle then afterwards, then do it at the hospital and admit me. She said no, they didn't need to do that. It was minor surgery. It wasn't that big of a deal. The surgery isn't that smart. Yeah, but they throw at you for anything, and fuck that shit. But after talking to the doctor last week, he had no problem prescribing me what I needed for a couple days because I'm taking care of myself. Okay, great. No problem. I would only take it if I needed it. Absolutely need it. But when he said what it actually was, I was like, okay, no problem. It's no big deal. I've had stitches before. I used to go scrubbing with one of my exes. When we were going through the stuff, I had a metal, it was like an air vent thing for a stove at a restaurant. I was getting it, and the corner piece stabbed me in my knee. Stabbed me in the kneecap. So I've had surgery, or not surgery, but I've had stitches in that. So the first excuse was that. Doctor calls me, tells me the same bullshit excuse. I called the pre-op. I talked to pre-op. Now, if in fact this was a thing, if this was the reason, wouldn't it be in my record, my file? Right? It's not. When they looked at my information, they're like, they told you that? Confused. I was like, yeah. They're like, we'll have somebody call you back. And so that was that. And then I called back and I talked to the supervisor or whatever that's in that office. The superior who, had her grow up in high school and stayed there and thinks she can bully people and talk down to people. She then tells me the reason is because the day center isn't equipped to do my surgery. The day center isn't equipped to do my surgery. That was the second excuse. The only difference is last week the doctor found out I was honest with the doctor, and I told him why I have anxiety and why I don't trust doctors or hospitals. And guess what? And this was scheduled for over a month. So you're telling me the surgery being scheduled for over a month all of a sudden can't be done at the day surgery place? Make that shit make sense. The only difference is he knows the truth about why. So then they said because I wasn't going to do it Monday or whatever, they don't feel comfortable doing the surgery. Oh, I'm not doing it. Fuck that shit. I'm not doing that. No, I ain't taking that. No, they gave me two different excuses. One was because they said that the anesthesiologist was afraid they wouldn't be able to control my pain. And that I would have to be there longer than necessary. Some bullshit. And then the supervisor person tells me it's because the day surgery place isn't equipped to do my surgery. My type of surgery. I've had laparoscopies at day surgery places. I've had 4-hour surgeries on my ear. I've had several surgeries at day surgery places. I believe I had my tubes tied at a day surgery place. But all this is going through the incision, taking the stimulator out, and stitching me up. And I have to be in a hospital. I have to go to the actual hospital to have that surgery. Anybody see yet what's really going on and why they won't do the surgery at the day center and why they were so persistent on Monday and why they lied to me? What were they really going to do? Now that he knew. That's red flag after red flag after red flag after red flag. So as pissed off as I am that I have to wait longer to do this, maybe it's for the best. Because who knows what would have happened if I went through with this on Monday. Knowing what I know. Because why do you have to do... You're taking it out, you're disposing it, you're sewing me up. Why do you have... You're not even sedating me all the way. Why do you have to have me do it at the main hospital? Why do I need to do it at the main hospital? You're not understanding, are you? You really don't get it, do you? Do you? The surgery has been scheduled for over a month. I'm in those files. I was stupid and told the doctor last week why hospitals and I have anxiety with them and why. And oh my bloody hell. Oh my bloody hell. Bloody hell. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's what I got. And then You really don't understand, do you? You really don't get it. Are you that oblivious? Are you really that oblivious that you don't understand? Do you know the types of people that are in that cult? Doctors, lawyers, judges. I had an unaliving threat by a member from another country from that cult. Oh, yeah, I know. That's why I didn't. That's why I refused. You must be new. What is the most powerful cult in the world? See, I've shown evidence upon evidence. I've shown everything. My memories that I've talked about it for the past 2 years, turns out, are in the files. So, what do you think this is all about? Lord have mercy. I'm not going to keep explaining it. You know what? Go look up Heather McCord on YouTube and you can watch the over 200 videos on there. And you might figure out why. I was kidnapped and trafficked as a child, and then I ended up in the leader of the Illuminati's family. They called her grandmother Hayden. Lord have mercy. They've been trying to take me out for a long time. There are doctors, preachers, reverends, pastors, nurses, lawyers, you name it, they're part of it. Well, let's see. Because I have information, I have proof, and, they don't like it when people survive being sacrificed either. That might be some part of it, too. Let's go over the fact that I was kidnapped. What do you think happens when I prove who I really am? What do you think happens? Because the real leader of that cult is in the family I grew up in. What do you think happens when it proves who I am? Darling, I'm the key to taking down that damn cult. There is a bounty on my head. Whoever can get me whoever can shut me up. Whether it's get them to make me look as crazy as possible to get me locked up, or hurt me so bad that I take myself out, or whatever. So, me letting the doctor know last week about me being in the files and that. And this surgery's been scheduled for over a month. And then all of a sudden today, this minor surgery where they only have to go where my scar is from the previous surgeries, take out the stimulator, sew me back up. All of a sudden it has to be done at the main hospital, not the day surgery place. Because supposedly they're not one excuse. Oh, excuse me. First excuse is anesthesiologist is afraid they won't be able to control my pain after surgery. Even though they're not even sedating me all the way. Either. So that was the first excuse found out from the pre-op. They're confused as to why I was told that. And then did get a completely different excuse from the superior being of that clinic, I guess, the supervisor. saying that the day surgery place is not equipped to do my surgery. They're not equipped to sedate me into twilight stage, go through that incision, take it out, sew me up, and dispose of the... Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The only difference, the only thing that happened was the doctor knows and found out a week ago because I told him. So for my own safety, yeah. Of course I'm not going to do it Monday. For my own safety. Potential spam. Bueno. Hello? Who's this? I don't know. Okay, take me off your list. Don't call my number again, or I'll, you're not going to like what happens next if you do. Scammer. I'm calling about the Flex card you never received. Do you have Medicare Part A and D? If you're calling me about a Flex card I never received, you have my now. You asked for my name. You asked my name. But yet you're asking me you're calling me about the Flex card I never received, and then asking me if I have Medicare. Okay. Anyways. So, for those of you who do not understand why I was mad about the surgery being changed, it's because it's too shady. There's too many red flags. Because who's to say what they would actually do? So, that's... And then because I refused to have it done on Monday, they don't feel comfortable doing the surgery. Do you get it yet on why it's so suspicious? Yeah. They're trying to shut me up. They've been trying to shut me up. What would happen if I go in for surgery, then that doctor knowing? And who's to say he didn't contact somebody saying, hey, knowing? Who's to say what would really happen or what they would take out or put in or whatever to harm me? Because if the day surgery was not equipped to do my surgery, they wouldn't have offered that day and that center for me to have the surgery done. And they wouldn't be calling me 2 days ahead of time, telling me that they're not comfortable. You know what I mean? You can ask me whatever you want. I'm not in the best mood today, can you tell? I'm livid. Like, I'm fucking livid, man. This is absolutely insane. This is fucking nuts. This doesn't make fucking sense. When I was a child, I was kidnapped by the leader of the Illuminati's granddaughter. I was kidnapped specifically to be trafficked, evidently, because I don't remember much, but the way I was treated through my life, and I've started having memories after I found out I was kidnapped back in October of 2024. The memories that I've had that I've talked about for the past year and a half, 2 years, evidently are in the files that have been released. I've had I've had unnecessary surgeries. I've been misdiagnosed with a lot of things, and prescribed. At one time, I was prescribed 30 different prescriptions, forced to take 100 pills a day. And then in 2017, she seemed fine with me not taking any of the medications anymore. And so I figured that's probably when all the shit stopped. But, so, if you want to know why they're trying to take me out or why I think they are, it's because they are. I have information. I was legitimately kidnapped, and once I prove who I am, then I might be the actual key to take them down. No, I didn't know that, but isn't it funny how all of a sudden, 2 days before surgery is supposed to happen, when they didn't seem to have a problem with it till now? That doesn't seem suspicious? It sure is to me, knowing what I know. I mean, I was told I had to have my tubes tied because if I got pregnant again, I had an 80% chance of dying. Dr. Zanagar was the doctor that was supposed to do the surgery. And when I refused to do it Monday, they said they didn't feel comfortable doing the surgery on me. So, for some reason, they were very particular about me doing it Monday at the hospital in the city. Don't you think that would make you suspicious? Knowing, if you were me and you lived through everything you lived through, people trying to sacrifice you and trying to unalive you and shit and everything, wouldn't you be a bit suspicious? And they had no problem in anything until you let the doctor know, and then all of a sudden, and then you get different excuses as to why. So basically, the doctor and the nurse practitioner lied to me, and so did the supervisor of that office. Because it was not, like, pre-op, they didn't even, they're, like, very confused as to why I was told this. So now all of a sudden they don't feel comfortable doing the surgery. So, yay me. So you know what? Because it seems like I don't know who I could trust here when it comes to medical personnel. Maybe I'll just wait to have the surgery done. No matter how, for my own safety. I want you to imagine not being able to trust doctors or medical staff or hospitals. Imagine not being able to trust anyone. Police, FBI, you can't trust anybody. Imagine that. Because they've shown you can't. So I just have to deal with it until whenever, I guess. to when I can actually have the surgery safely and nothing happened to me, and that I know nothing's gonna happen. Oh yeah, that's basically why they're actually terrified of me. I commented on this psychic tarot reader that I follow. She's from the UK. She was talking about the files and things like that, and what she's seen there. She's pretty accurate. I commented on her video that I was one of the survivors, that I was kidnapped and trafficked, and they tried to sacrifice me. It failed. And they're terrified, and evidently I'm in their book. One of the Rothschild family members liked that comment. So yeah, they are. They are. They've shown me that. They hide behind in buildings and lock the doors and call the police on me. We all know that they take out whoever they're going to take out, right? But me, they hide like cowards and call the police. Yeah. So I need to have the surgery done when I know I'll be safe to have it done. And clearly that might not be anytime soon. So I just gotta deal with it. It's a nuisance, and it's painful at times because it sticks out of my stomach. And sometimes I bump against the, when I go out to get my tea, make my tea and that, sometimes I bump up against the counter and it hurts. But it's better than having the surgery done from someone that's going to try and take me out. Or that might try and take me out, Because also, why specifically Monday? It had to be Monday. That doesn't make sense. Does that shit make sense to you? None of it makes sense. That is the dumbest. Also, then canceling and refusing to do it, that's malpractice. And they're fine with that. They are literally. I've warned them. I said, that you cancel the surgery knowing that I need this removed in that because of my health reasons that. That's malpractice. That's a malpractice lawsuit. They have no problem with that. It either had to be Monday at the main hospital, or Yeah, I think I'll take the, let's cancel it all together, and I'll just file a malpractice lawsuit, Alex, for $1,000. Shit. For $1,000, Alex. Because that's shady as fuck. I've never had this problem trying to, I've had my tubes tied unnecessarily. I had a hysterectomy based on lies doctors told me, because they didn't want me to have any more children. Why? Because they would have a problem explaining how I would get pregnant if I was ever single, huh? And because I'm pretty sure I did get pregnant after my tubes tied, that's why they lied to me and said they needed to do a biopsy in my uterus, and they had to take the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah, they were insistent on Monday at the main hospital. Very, very, very minor surgery where I would not be even completely sedated. Where they're just removing this small device out of my body right under the skin. And I had to have it done at the main hospital. because they're afraid they wouldn't, because the first excuse was the anesthesiologist was afraid they wouldn't be able to control my pain afterwards. The second excuse I got was because the day surgery place isn't equipped to do my surgery. Whether they insisted on Monday, Tuesday, it wouldn't matter what day if they even insisted on any of them. That's that red flags. That's the red flags. Forget that they insisted on that specific day. The red flags, the two different excuses, and the pre-op, people were confused as to why I was ever told that. No, because if that's the case, then why would they schedule my surgery for that day to begin with? No, it's canceled altogether. The surgery has been canceled completely. The doctor, because I refused to have it done Monday and questioning so many times, why are you lying to me? Because it makes no sense as to why all of a sudden I have to have the surgery at the main hospital, and get two different excuses as to why. For minor surgery, I would never, I'm not even being completely sedated for it. I haven't had the main, they don't, have you ever heard of such a thing? Let me get this straight. I have to go to the main hospital. According to that, they can't do the surgery at the day center, at the day surgery place. Very minor surgery, where I'm not going to be ever sedated completely. Right? Going to be sedated enough for twilight. Right? I would still be awake or whatever for the surgery. Right? But they can't do it at the day surgery place. I have to have it done at the main hospital. Because they're afraid they won't be able to control my pain afterwards. When all they are doing, all they're planning on doing is going right through the incision, taking out the stimulator, not cutting through muscle or anything, just going through the skin. Take out the stimulator, sew it back up, and I would even be able to go start working out in 2 days after surgery. But no, now all of a sudden it has to be done at the main hospital, and this, that, and the other. I called the new doctor trying to get in sooner because my first appointment with him is scheduled on Tuesday. I explained the situation to the person that answered the phone. Very nice guy that answered the phone. He was confused by the situation. As to, he said that none of that made sense. He had never. So you're telling me that none of this fucking makes sense. So because I'm not gonna have it, it makes no sense. So now they don't feel comfortable doing the surgery. So I had to find another surgeon or whatever, but I'm like I'm like, what the fuck? Because the truth is, the surgery has been scheduled for over a month. Right? If this was an actual thing, if this was a legit reason, they would have notified me before. Especially when I said something last week and mentioned something. And they told me that, no, it doesn't need to be done at the main hospital because it's a very easy surgery, not major at all, nothing like that. But now all of a sudden it has to be done at the main hospital. And what gets me is the main hospital and this day surgery place right across the street from each other. I'm so confused. No, this is day surgery. I'm not even supposed. I wasn't gonna be sedated. I mean, I'd be like sedated enough for twilight. I wouldn't be put out. I can't show up because guidelines. But I have a scar right here where they put it in before. It sits right underneath the skin. They don't even have to go through muscle, nothing like that. Not doing any laparoscopic, nothing. I would not be put out. They just go through the skin, pull it out, dispose of it. Sew me up. That's it. That's the surgery. That's the fucking surgery right there. They disconnect it from the wiring, which is sitting right there, whatever. They take it out. They're leaving the leads in. All of a sudden, 2 days before surgery, there's a problem. I have to have it at the main hospital for bullshit reasons. I got 2 different excuses. I've had my tubes tied at a day surgery place. I've had laparoscopies done at day surgery centers. But all of a sudden, this surgery, where I'm not even going to be unconscious, has to be at a main hospital. Because they're afraid they won't be able to manage my pain. The first excuse. They're afraid they won't be able to manage your pain after surgery. I've been stabbed in the kneecap with a metal thing for industrial stove, the air vent or whatever. I've been stabbed to the kneecap with the corner piece of it. I had stitches, but you're afraid that I won't be able to. And this is minor surgery. But you'll do a laparoscopic surgery in a day. Lord have mercy. I'm just... Fuck's sakes. The more I think about this, the dumber I realize these people are. Yeah. That's but they're telling me 2 days before I'm supposed to have the surgery that they have to do it on Monday at the main hospital. When it's been scheduled for over a month. Just at the time I was supposed to come in. They told me they would call me the day before to let me know what time to come in. Okay, great. And now I'm being told 2 days prior, getting a phone call, that they have to do it at the main hospital on Monday. Why? When you're just going... This doesn't make sense. I was released after my hysterectomy. I've been released after laparoscopies of that. All of a sudden, 2 days before surgery, a week after the doctor found out the truth about me, the files and everything, all of a sudden, I have to have it at the hospital. I would understand. I would have probably bought it if it was actually major surgery, or if it was more serious surgery. Not this. You're just doing this basic shit, and you're wanting me to believe you that you're going to just take that I have to have it at the main hospital, and you give me two different BS fucking excuses. 2 days before I'm supposed to have the surgery. As pissed off as I am, oh yeah, I am. I'm beyond livid about this. Because I just want to get it over and done with. If I had never said anything I never would have gotten a call today. It would have never had any problem because they would have never known. But now, oh, I'm livid. I'm livid. The surgery has been canceled completely, and I'm not. Because I refuse to have it done on Monday at the main hospital. It makes absolutely no fucking sense. The excuses, the BS excuses, all of it. And the only reason I believe that they did this was because. So 10 years ago, I was misdiagnosed with gastroparesis. So they turned the stimulator off to make sure I don't have it, and it turns out I've got diverticulitis. So they turned the stimulator off in December. The company told me I needed it removed immediately. So last month, over a month ago, I think it was January 10th, January something, that I went in, and January 13th, I think, actually. Could be in the 11th, 12th, 13th, something like that. I went in for the pre-appointment in person, and everything was fine. Scheduled it for today, or not for today, but for Friday at the day center surgery, at the day surgery place. Okay, no problem, great. Last week I could, have the appointment or whatever, and I asked her before I left that office, am I going to be prescribed, am I going to be sent home with the proper medication to take care of my pain afterwards? Because I thought it was going to be the same thing as the other times, right? Where they go in, it's very painful, and that kind of thing. She didn't explain that part, that it was very minor, it's not all that. She didn't explain that. So we had an argument, miscommunication. She's like, oh, well, do you want to just cancel it? No. So, all that. Doctor calls me. He says he has no problem prescribing a couple, for like 2 days worth of pain medicine. Okay, great. Just remind him when I go in that day. Okay, great. I was stupid and told him my anxiety and why the whole thing with that, why I have problems with doctors and hospitals, because the past. Because of what I've been through and everything, right? This is what I'm saying. Exactly. So, he knew, he found out last week when I talked to him. Because I told him. And then the files about me. So he knew, he understood. Told me I couldn't eat anything. That's another thing. He told me I couldn't eat I couldn't have anything solid 24 hours either. I had to have a liquid diet for 24 hours. Hang on. Hello? Who's this? Okay, I don't know what this is about. I didn't go to any bridal show. I don't know who put my name in. I don't know who would have met using my name. I'm not sure. This is very odd to me. And it's not the first call I've gotten. It's very weird. I'm not sure. Alright, thank you so much. Bye-bye. That's fucking weird. So now whoever went to this bridal show, because I didn't even go to this one that I supposedly had tickets for this time either, because I never signed up for any fucking bridal show. She just said, hi Heather, I'm so-and-so from this so-and-so realtor. I'm partners with so-and-so that you met at the bridal show. I'm fucking confused at this. I'm now completely confused. completely fucking confused because I didn't go to any bridal show. The first one I supposedly went to, I got a call. I evidently won some facial thing that was entered to in this contest for the special facial thing. You had to enter into at the bridal show. I don't know. I never went. I didn't even know about it. You know. Now, I had an email about this other bridal expo, whatever, in the city. I didn't go. And I'm fucking confused. But back to the surgery thing. I let him know last week. That's the only thing that was different. How much you would have bet if I had not let him know about me being in the files and that's why I don't trust doctors and hospitals and that. How much you would have bet if I had not said a word that I would still be having surgery on Friday at the day center, at the day surgery place? I'm willing to put money on that. Because he told me 24-hour, I had to have a liquid diet. And this was after I told him that. He told me that that I had to have a liquid diet. I could not eat any solids for 24 hours before. So all day tomorrow, I was not supposed to have anything solid. Nothing solid tomorrow. I was supposed to have only liquid diet. And that was after I told him why I have issues with doctors and the file. That doesn't make sense. I've had surgeries, plenty of surgeries, laparoscopic, all that shit. I've never been told that I had to be on a liquid diet the day before surgery. Have you? Especially when all they were doing is opening it up, taking it out of the pocket, and sewing me back up. It's right here in my stomach. It sticks out because it's like in a little pouch. It's right under the skin. No, because I've had the surgery before. Only I had the major part where they would put it in and then the replacement and everything. Yeah, I was still able to eat whatever I wanted the day before. Yeah. And he didn't say anything about me having to be on a liquid diet the whole day prior until after I told him. So what the fuck were they gonna do to me? All they were doing was removing the stimulator because I was misdiagnosed. It's not. They were just going right. Oh, they're not cutting into muscle, nothing like that. Just the skin. Just underneath the skin. None of it makes sense. God only knows what would happen if I had agreed to it. Something told me to fight it. I can't explain it. But with the red flags, the different excuses, and so hell-bent on doing it Monday because I refused, they said they no longer feel comfortable doing the surgery. They wanted me to have nothing but liquids the day before. And then they had to do it at the main hospital. If you have plans to do surgery on someone and take their life and make it look like it was something went wrong during surgery, but you don't want that mess to clean up, that would probably be the easiest way to do it, huh? Because what happens when someone passes away, right? So most likely, the reason they were so hell-bent and everything was because, well, this is the Illuminati, and I have a bounty on my head, so, yeah, go read the files, and then we'll talk about Dark, if you don't get it yet. There's a bounty on my head to shut me up in any way, shape, or form. I stupidly told the doctor about the whole why I don't trust doctors and everything, and so he knows. They were most likely good. I'm okay. It just shows I can't have surgery here. I don't know who I'm gonna have to wait till I can find one that, and make sure not to mention anything to them. I have to make sure not to mention anything to the next one about it, if I'm gonna have it done. I've had unnecessary surgeries. I've been misdiagnosed intentionally. When I had my youngest daughter, they turned off the epidural a couple minutes after I had her. They said the placenta was stuck to my uterus, so they had to go in and take it out manually. That was the most excruciating pain that I've ever experienced in my entire life. Come to find out, the reason is because they intentionally turned off the epidural, and it was so they basically could torture me. Do you get it yet? When I go to hospitals, I get a fight or flight mode. Because of everything. Oh my god. Look up the EPSTEIN files. Maybe you'll figure it out then. That would take, do you not have common sense? Do I have a mod on here at all? Because clearly I'm not going to deal with stupidity. I'm sitting here explaining it, and I know why you're doing it. You're not, you can move the fuck on. Go tell whoever asked you, go fuck off, okay? No, you're not. I know exactly what you're doing. This is nothing new, bitch. Is it just me, or was that motherfucker trying to fucking upset me even more, or piss me off, or stress me out? Just me? Knowing everything we know? Pretty sure that motherfucker was probably sent in. Let's see. Because I want to check it out. I do. I want to check out his fucking thing. You know, I did not say it. Hold on. Hold on. 675 followers, 487 following. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, this has been going on for, 3 years now? The stalking and harassing and trying to discredit me, all this shit. It's nothing new. People are paid to do it, and it is what it is. Like, this is literally a rerun, it feels like. Same shit, different day, different, whatever you want to fucking call it. I've said repeatedly now, like, common sense, right? If I have said, I'm in the files, I've mentioned this. People have told me my memories are in the files. I've mentioned this. He's asked me repeatedly. I've said it. Being forced to take the medications that I was put on. The unnecessary surgeries. He was on here the whole fucking time and saying this and repeatedly asking me the same fucking dumbass question. And they do this to upset me and piss me off and stress me the fuck out. Because stress, if I get overwhelmed and too stressed out, it will throw me into a seizure. I have seizures because of trauma. I don't have epilepsy. I've been dealing with the same shit different day for 3 fucking years. They do whatever they do, then it gets quiet for a while, then they start back up, and every time it happens, it gets worse than the time before. They've been quiet a while, it's starting back up. And you would think, after all this time, knowing that they would you would think they would fucking stop, right? But no. In order for you not to do the type of shit that they've been doing, you have to at least have a soul, compassion, empathy. I'm trying not to, it's hard. Also the fact that I'm realizing that they were most likely going to do their best to me if I had gone through that surgery Monday. That's why the liquid diet the day before. And then telling me that they had, all I have to do is go look on YouTube with the name Have the McCord up. Hi. They were most likely going to try and take me out Monday. Because it was after I told the doctor about the files, everything, and he knew. That's when he told me a couple minutes after that I couldn't have anything solid the day before. It had to be a liquid diet. It's just to take... Okay, so 10 years ago I was misdiagnosed with gastroparesis. All they were going to do for this surgery was go through the skin, take the stimulator out, sew me back up, done. I'm not even going to be sedated all the way. I'm not being put out for this. I'd be in twilight stage. So, for him, all of a sudden, now I'm putting everything together because, number one, that simple surgery, why would I have to have a liquid diet the day before? Because I've never had to have the whole liquid diet thing like that for any surgery 24 hours before. And then them insisting that it had to be done at a hospital, not at the day surgery place. The first excuse was that the anesthesiologist wasn't comfortable. They were concerned that they wouldn't be able to control my pain afterwards. So it needed to be done at the hospital. And then the second excuse I got was that the day surgery wasn't equipped to do the type of surgery I need done. The fuck? I've had laparoscopies at day surgery places. I had my tubes tied at a day surgery place. I'm not even getting sedated all the way for this. You're telling me it has to be at a hospital? And two different excuses. And also, I called I talked to the pre-op people. They were confused as to why I would be told that. And then when I called and told the supervisor that I called, there was no record of it. That's when she changed it to say that the day surgery place isn't equipped to do my type of surgery. To just do the incision, take it out, just get rid of it, and sew me back up. I guess they're not equipped to do that kind of surgery. And the fact that he insisted that he said that he said I had to do a solid diet or a liquid diet all day tomorrow. That I couldn't have any solids because if I did, if the anesthesiologist knew, then he would cancel the surgery. No. What? Diverticulitis? Or thyroiditis, which is Hashimoto's disease. Which one? Or osteoporosis? And again, this has been set up for over a month. So no. Especially when I called the place pre-op and they're like very confused because it would be in the records as the anesthesiologist saying this. They looked it up. I'm not going through with it because I refused to do it Monday at the hospital. They had said, well, we don't feel comfortable doing the surgery. What the fuck were they going to do to me? And, I already know at this point. Because I was not told anything about having to do a liquid diet until after he found out last week. Either. Because if I was going to have a liquid diet, they would have told me the last time I went in there for my pre-op appointment. Not the doctor tell me after he finds out. Hey. Especially knowing that people have been offered a lot of money to get me to shut up, and so chances are they were going to try. I may not have been leaving that hospital. I think after he found out, he may be part of that fucking whole shit. Legitimately, because it was after I told him that he's like, oh bloody hell. And then he said he had no problem prescribing some pain medication for 2 days. Just, remind him that day. And then, oh yeah, I need you to have a liquid diet all day, the whole day before that. But I was like, so does that mean I can eat ice cream? No problem with me eating ice cream the day before surgery, but it had to be a liquid diet. That doesn't make fucking sense. Why would I have to have a liquid diet for this minor surgery? I've never had to have a liquid diet the day before surgery for any surgery. The major part of it, where they go through the muscle and the laparoscopy and all that. But all of a sudden, to get this thing removed, I had, chances are the doctor's involved, and once I told him that was when he decided that he, You do know they're trying to silence all the survivors, right? Why do you think, you do know that there's a bounty on my head to shut me up? It's because he's part of it. And he had no idea until I stupidly told him. And now, because I refused to do it Monday and asking too many questions, they don't feel comfortable doing the surgery. Good. Leave me the fucking alone. You ain't taking me out, bitch. No. Because I refused to do it Monday. They were very insistent on Monday. Why Monday? Of all the days. Wait, not to mention the fact that it's as minor as it is, I'm not even being put to sleep, basically. No. They called me today. They told me they had to reschedule it because the anesthesiologist didn't feel comfortable. He said, supposedly, the anesthesiologist was afraid that they wouldn't be able to control my pain at the day surgery place after surgery. That's the first excuse. I say, and this was the nurse practitioner, I was like, you need to have the doctor call me because we've had too many bad conversations. We're not doing this. Have the doctor call me. Doctor calls me, tells me the same bullshit story. Has to be done at the main hospital because they're afraid they won't be able to control my pain afterwards. Mind you, they're just going through the skin and removing it and sewing it back up. So I called the main hospital. I talked to pre-op. They looked my information up. They were very confused. They were very confused why I was told this. I called the office back. I said, I just got on the phone with the pre-op. They're what are you talking? That's when they change it to when I'm talking to the supervisor or whatever in that office, that the reason it has to be done at the hospital on Monday and not at the day surgery is because the day surgery's facility is not equipped to do my surgery. They're not equipped to do my surgery. You're not equipped to sedate me in twilight mode and do the incision to take out the device and then sew me back up. And then the thing about the liquid diet for 24 hours. Why would they have me do a liquid diet for 24 hours before surgery? He told me that, just humor. I said, but I don't have gas. He made up some bullshit excuse that if the anesthesiologist found out that if I had any solid food over, at all tomorrow, say the surgery was set up, right? And if I had solid food tomorrow at all, and this anesthesiologist found out, he would then cancel the surgery. So I had to humor the doctor and do all liquid diet all day tomorrow before surgery. He said this after finding out. No. He said this after finding out about my past, about me and the files. Why would anybody else get the feeling that they were going to try and take me out? Because if someone is only having a liquid diet and they were to have surgery, right? And they were to pass during surgery, there's nothing in their stomach for the mess, right? And also the fact of what these monsters do, right? And I'm sure they don't just do it to children. I'm sure they do it to others too. And so they would probably then, like, when they're going to take, a cow or something, right? They tend to not feed the cow or whatever 24 hours before they unalive the cow, correct? I let it be known. I trusted him. I thought, because he seemed like a great doctor, I stupidly let it slip. That's why my anxiety and why I don't trust doctors and that. So if I've had major surgeries, this is just very minute. And if that was the case that I needed to have all liquids the night before, they would have told me that when I went in for my pre-op appointment. Not wait for the doctor to tell me after he finds out about it, my past. They were trying to yeah. Say you're going to take an animal to slaughter. That's the best way I could put it. When you take the animal to slaughter, do you feed it 24 hours beforehand? If you were going to take it to slaughter, you don't want to clean up the mess, right? What would you do? Just give it a liquid diet? Or do you feed the animal beforehand? Like 24 hours beforehand. If you had to worry about a mess being cleaned up. It would just be a liquid diet, wouldn't it? I'm guessing that's the reason for the liquid diet and why they were so hell-bent on me having it at the hospital. And, yeah. Yeah. The surgery's been canceled. I'm guessing, and this is not paranoia. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, that's a you motherfucking problem. And you know what's great? You can scroll on too. And what's even greater is I already know that there are still fake supporters and shit. So if you think for 1 second that you could be on here for 2-3 years and then start saying shit to try and discredit me because you've been on here following for so long, it's not going to motherfucking work. I already know. And I know because of my history and what they've done to me before. And I know for a fact that they are trying to take me out, to shut me up. This is not fucking paranoia. How many of you think I'm right on the money, and how many of you think I'm paranoid? Let's just go with that. I mean, if I'm paranoid, then I'll go get help for it. Oh, a doctor can't do that. A doctor can't do what? Take you out? Oh, no. Doctors also can't over-medicate you with medications you don't need, right? Prescribing you 30 prescriptions where you're taking 100 pills a day. Doctors can't do that either, do they? But they did. Doctors, can't lie to you saying that you have an 80% chance of dying if you get pregnant again, so you need your tubes tied. Can they? But they did. Doctors can't lie to you and say they have to do a biopsy on your uterus and take the whole uterus to do the biopsy. Can they? But they fucking did. The easiest way to take me out would have been during surgery. And they know it. This is not paranoia. This is they're trying to take me out. Again. Which is why why they insisted on Monday at the main hospital that they had to change it, and why they gave you the BS excuses. Different excuses. And why they said a liquid diet for 24 hours before the day of surgery. You get it yet? Just like they're not supposed to put, ear doctors are not supposed to put tubes in a child's ears without some numbing thing, right? Upstairs. She's home. She just got home. So Swendy, it's my landlord. See, ear doctors, right? Put tubes in your ears? Oh, excuse me. As a child, right? To put a tube in a child's ear and not do local anesthesia or anything, and hold the child down and just put it in their ear where the child is screaming so loud that they hear it clear across the street. That happened to me. They did that to me. You think? Wow, you don't think that I've already... I mean, I've said that. That's what I'm going to. Because at least when I'm over there and once we prove that my identity, it'll be very different and, you know what I mean? I'm positive it'll be fucking different. I'm sure they'll make sure I'm protected and everything will be okay. And I don't have to worry about any fucked up doctor who's corrupt as fuck. If I would have had to do a liquid diet like he told me I had to do, they would have told me at my pre-op appointment when I went in there. They never did. He didn't tell me that I had to be a liquid diet until after I told him why I don't like doctors and don't trust doctors or hospitals. And then today telling me that it has to be at the main hospital because two different excuses. Yeah, I know. But no, he said nothing after midnight tonight except a liquid diet. And my surgery was supposed to be on Friday. If there's no solids in my... And it's like, if they're going to make you do a liquid diet, do they let you have ice cream? Come on now. Do they let people... If you have to have a liquid diet before surgery? No. If they tell you have to do a liquid diet the day before surgery, right? And you say, oh, can I eat ice cream? And they have no problem with that. What do you think is really going on? I even specifically said, can I have ice cream? And he said, yeah, as long as it's not solid. Like, this is no fucking joke. They were like... God only knows what they were going to do. I'll tell you what, I have this very, very horrific feeling in the pit of my stomach that if I had gone along with it, I probably would not be leaving that hospital on Monday. Not on my own, anyway. Probably in a, you know. Please don't tell me I told you so, because I really don't need that right now. But at least, it's not happening. It's been completely canceled because after I refused to do it Monday, they said they no longer feel comfortable doing the surgery. So, most people would say, see, told you so, you should have never told me. That's normal for me. That's what I've gotten that before. Like, I'm not scared of anything. Y'all know that. You guys are scared more for me than I am for myself. Shit. But never did I ever think that about them possibly trying when I was gonna have surgery. I never thought about that. And that would be where I would be my most vulnerable because they, that would be when I would be my most vulnerable, would be when I would be having surgery. I'm just supposed to have the stimulator removed. They go right through the skin where they did before, take it out, sew it up, and that's it. If I had never told him, I would still be having the surgery tomorrow. At the day surgery place. Or not tomorrow, but Friday. At the day surgery place. This is, this should tell you people will do anything for money, including doctors, well, especially if they're part of it, you know? I'm kind of in shock, actually. They were really, they were really gonna do it, weren't they? They were gonna try again, weren't they? Why the fuck am I crying? Shit. Oh my god. So there's that. I guess I could, reschedule my gym pass for this next week. Or even tomorrow. Right? Um, my surgery has been completely canceled, and they were most likely going to try and take me out during surgery. I let my doctor know I let the surgeon know a week ago why hospitals and that can be, just stress me out, and I get the way I get sometimes. It was after that he said that, he had no problem prescribing pain medication for a couple days. And then after that he said for 24 hours, all day tomorrow, I had to have a liquid diet. I couldn't have any solids. The surgery's been scheduled for over a month. Called today. I called today telling me that they have to reschedule the surgery for Monday. And it had to be at the main hospital. The reason that they gave me was the anesthesiologist was afraid they wouldn't be able to control my pain after surgery. The doctor said that. The nurse practitioner said that. I called, talked to Priya. They looked at my information. They were like, "They told you that?" They were very confused. Yeah. We'll call you back. We'll have somebody call you back. I called the office back. Talked to the supervisor, who was rude as fuck. She had her glow up in high school. That's where she mentally stayed. Right? Where the hell's that phone? So she was rude, talking over me and shit like that, talking down to me. She tells me that the reason is because the day surgery place is not equipped to do my surgery. I said, if that were true, then it wouldn't have been offered to me, number one. Number two, before the doctor knew last week, I said something about having it done at the hospital, and the nurse practitioner said that I didn't need to have it done at the hospital because it's not serious. It's not major. No, here's the thing. They weren't going to completely put me out. They weren't going to completely put me out. They were going to go through the incision where I have the scar, where they did before. Not cut through muscle or anything, just go right under the skin where it is, take it out of the little pocket that they put in there, and sew me back up. I would not even be completely sedated. Exactly. Except, I stupidly told the doctor last week about my past. And why I don't like hospitals and why I don't trust them. And so he's like, just remind me the day before surgery, or that day, I would, just say, hey doc, remember you were okay with me, prescribing me a couple, like 2 days pain medication. No problem, no problem. Oh yeah, by the way, I need you to do a liquid diet the day before surgery. Why? Oh, well, if the anesthesiologist finds out if you have solid food, they will cancel the surgery. Okay. Didn't think anything of that. I was gonna do it. Then today. Oh no, he was going to. He was going. No, he was going to. No, it gets better. Today I get a call, and after he found out that I about my past, the files and everything, is when he said I had to do a liquid diet tomorrow, all day tomorrow, which would have been the day before surgery. And then I get a call today saying that they had to reschedule my surgery to Monday at the main hospital. And when I asked why, they told me it was because the anesthesiologist was afraid they wouldn't be able to control my pain afterwards. And then that was the nurse practitioner that called me, told me this. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. I said, are you putting me out? Am I going to be asleep for this? No, you'll be in twilight state. Okay. I said, you need to have the doctor call me. This doesn't make sense. It's very minor surgery. Doctor calls me, tells me, same bullshit story. That they're afraid they won't be able to handle my pain after blah, blah, blah. I said, but you're not putting me out. Oh, no, you're in twilight state. Okay. Minor surgery, right? Yeah, minor surgery, but, we can't help it. That's what the anesthesiologist decided. Okay. So I called, and I talked to pre-op. Gave them my information, told them what they told me. They looked it up. They were confused. They were like, so-and-so told you that? I said, yeah. They said, we'll have someone to call you back. They were very confused. So when I called the doctor's office back, I talked to the supervisor, who seemed to peak at high school, and that's where she mentally stayed, because she was a bully in high school, apparently. So she then tells me that the reason it has to be moved to the hospital is because the day surgery place is not equipped to do the surgery that I need done. I want you to think about that for a minute. Very minor surgery. Going through the skin where they did before, take out the stimulator, sew me back up. That's it. Tells me after he finds out that I'm in those files that I need to do a liquid diet 24 hours before surgery. I refuse to do it on Monday. It doesn't make sense. Because why do I have to have it done at the main hospital when it's that simple? I've had laparoscopic surgeries. I've had my tubes tied at a fucking day center. Or day surgery place. So because I refused to do it Monday at the hospital, they canceled it completely and don't feel comfortable doing the surgery. So I'm not having it done. The truth be with everything I know, and that number one, they don't make you do an all liquid diet for 24 hours before a surgery like this. I never had to do an all liquid diet for any of my surgeries. I will have it done when the time comes, when I find a surgeon that I know is not going to try and take my life. Think about this. If I had to have a liquid diet 24 hours the day before surgery, no solids whatsoever, wouldn't they have told me that at my pre-op appointment when I went in for pre-op? Yeah, they didn't mention anything, but the doctor actually said it after he found out, and because I was stupid and told him why I have problems with the hospitals and that. So he knew I was in the files, and then he told me to have an all liquid diet. So say you're going in to have surgery, right? And they tell you, like, when someone passes away, what happens? And when you don't want much of a mess to clean up, if you don't have anything in your system but liquids, that's a lot less of a mess to clean up, isn't it? Do you get it? That's why they insisted on Monday at the hospital and no solid food for 24 hours before surgery, before the day of surgery. So I wouldn't have, like, if they were to have surgery and it went through, right? Say if I agreed to do it, and went through it. I would have had my last solid meal on Saturday, and just nothing but liquids on Sunday. But here's the thing, when he said that, I asked him, can I have ice cream? And he said, yeah, that's not a problem, just no solids. If you're on a liquid diet before surgery, because you have to be, right? They're not having you. You're not going to be able to eat ice cream. I'm going to, but not right now, obviously, because I need to find. I will eventually be doing it when I know I'm safe to do it. I can't do it until I know I'm safe to do it. Exactly. As long as it's not having any negative effect on my body, I'm okay. And I will wait. It's turned off, it's not doing it, it's just sitting in there. Um, yeah, that's the reality. If I had never told him, I would have never gotten the call today that they were going to reschedule till Monday, and I would be having the surgery Friday. And I would have never been told I had to be on a liquid diet either for 24 hours before. Like the whole like all day Thursday, I would have nothing but liquids. That never would have been told to me. Nothing like realizing that the surgery you were about to have would have cost you your life because the fucking doctor is most likely part of that goddamn cult. And you slipped up and told him about your past. It's crazy, huh? You never think that there might be a danger for you having surgery like that. That type of danger. But my gut told me not to do it. I was fighting it. I said I am not having surgery Monday. I'm not having surgery. There's no reason that I'm having it Friday. They refused. Something told me not, like, fuck that shit. No. Especially with all the two different excuses, and then the pre-op had no idea why I would be told that they had to have it, that they had to do it in the hot. You know what I mean? Yeah, the doctor. Think about this. What happens when someone passes away? The bowels and everything, right? If they don't have anything in their stomach that is solid for over 24 hours beforehand, a lot less of a mess to clean up, isn't it? That's why he told me I needed to do the liquid diet beforehand. That's why they were moving it to the hospital, because it's easier to take a body to a morgue if it's in the hospital and not at a day surgery across the street, isn't it? So, yeah, that's the reality. If I had never told him, he would have never said anything about having to have a liquid diet, and I would have not gotten a call saying that it had to be moved to Monday to the regular hospital. And it would have been taken care of and done without any problem. But my stupid dumbass had to say something. And I was honest. When I told him about me being in the file, he's like, "You're in the files?" I was like, yeah, evidently my memories that I've talked about are. He's like, bloody hell, bloody hell. And then he's like, well, I can prescribe you a couple days worth of pain medication. Don't worry, just remind me the day before. Da, da, da. Okay, great, no problem. And then he said, oh, by the way, the day before surgery, I need you to do a liquid diet because if you don't, the anesthesiologist will cancel the surgery. I said, I didn't understand. I was like, well, can I have ice cream? And he said, yeah, absolutely, just nothing solid. If that was the case, why didn't they tell me that when I went for my pre-op appointment? They didn't. And then today, them insisting on doing it at the hospital because of the bullshit excuses they gave. Number one, it's easier to take a body to the morgue if it's at the hospital and not at the day surgery across the street. Number two, less mess to clean up if there's no solid food in if there's no solids going through the person's body for 24 hours beforehand. That's the reality. If I hadn't told him, it would have been different. I didn't even think about that at the time. I thought by telling him he would understand, and yeah, yeah, it would be. That try again. You, Mish, you've been blocked before, and I know someone I had as a mod unblocked you, and I know what you're doing. It's not gonna work. There's plenty of people in here that have had many surgeries, and that's a bullshit lie. He's part of it. Why would why would he want to unalive me? Knowing that there's a bounty on my head, knowing that I'm in those files, and then I'm remembering, why would he want, why? I don't know. What do you think? The only time I've ever had to do liquid diet for any procedure would be a colonoscopy. When I had my first surgery, where they took my gallbladder out and put the stimulator in, I couldn't eat anything or drink anything after midnight. But I was able to eat solid. I've always been able to eat solid foods all the time, except having colonoscopy, which is normal because you gotta clean out your system beforehand. But also when they do a liquid diet, right? They don't let you have ice cream either. And he said I could eat ice cream. So I'm going to be having it removed, but I'm now having to wait till I know I'll be safe to do it. It said in there it's turned off because I don't have gastroparesis. Don't need it. But I have to wait to find someone that can do it that I know is not going to try and take me out. You know? That's fucking nuts. That's fucking insane. Yeah, I was misdiagnosed with gastroparesis 10 years ago. I actually have diverticulitis. Nothing about having to be on a liquid diet. Oh, I can. I can because they've tried all for years. Shit. They've tried to for years. Of course, I didn't think. You never think. See, normal people when they go to have surgery, they have the normal anxiety about it, right? Little things can happen, whatever. But yeah, I know. You think that's appalling? Think about what they've done, what they do to children. I'm making it in there. I'm just, I'm not sure how to feel right now. I'm angry because what the fuck, man? I'm not the only survivor they do this to, but I never thought I'm not scared of anything or anyone. We know this. But during surgery, I would be at my most vulnerable. That would be, and they know that would be the best time to try. It wouldn't be hard for them to do it either during surgery. Because God, I mean, can you imagine what they could do if they were going to take me out? They could just take, you know, they could have removed all my organs. Fuck. Whatever it took to take me out. And they cover it up. It's fucking. I will not ever understand this shit. Never. I'm never gonna understand it. And it like that is the most cowardly thing to do, to try and take me out when I'm unconscious or during surgery. Tell me you're a coward without telling me you're a fucking goddamn coward. If you're gonna try and take me out, let's go face to face and do it that way. But no, they're too fucking cowardly. They want to do it while I'm unconscious or what the fuck ever. Fucking dumbass motherfuckers. You tell them that. I've calmed down a bit, but I'm just, I'm tempted to go there and say, yeah, why don't you tell me now? You don't feel comfortable doing the surgery. I wonder why. Tell me it ain't a liquid diet beforehand and shit. Fuck you. last week I told the doctor why I have anxiety and that because we were having miscommunication about the medication after surgery, what medication to, because I thought it was going to be a major surgery like it had before. So he called me, explained things, and I said, okay, great. He had no problem prescribing me a couple days worth of medication. Okay, great. And I stupidly told him why I have, when it comes to doctors, hospitals, that kind of thing, um, I don't trust him. And then there's on the other end, he's like, oh, no problem, no problem. He's like, I said, remember, the files that just came out? And he's like, you're in them? He asked specifically, are you in them? And I said, yeah, my memories that I've talked about are in them. And he's like, bloody hell. Bloody hell. And then he then changed the conversation back to having no problem, prescribing for a couple days, just remind him before surgery, remind him that day, which surgery was supposed to be this Friday. Then he told me that, oh, just by the way, I need you to do an all liquid diet the day before surgery. No solids. And I said, why? And he said that if the anesthesiologist found if I had solids, the anesthesiologist would cancel the surgery. And so I'm like, okay. And that's when I asked him, can I have ice cream? He's like, yeah, that's no problem, just no solids. Okay. So then today I get a phone call from the nurse practitioner in his office that works closely with him, telling me that this minor surgery that I wasn't even going to be sedated completely for, had to be rescheduled for Monday at the main hospital. Why? I said no, because there's no reason. It's minor. You're not even. I said, are you sedating me completely? Am I going to sleep? She said, no, you'll be in the twilight sedation, where you're awake or whatever, but you're kind of out of it. Okay, right. So why do I need to have it at the main hospital? The anesthesiologist is afraid that they won't be able to they won't be able to manage or control your pain after surgery. Uh-huh. I said, you need to have the doctor call me because this doesn't make sense, and after the conversations we've had, you need to have the doctor call me. Doctor calls me, tells me the same BS story. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. This is minor surgery. You're not even putting me out all the way. What the fuck? I said, I've had stitches before. Oh, well, the anesthesiologist doesn't feel comfortable because they're afraid they won't be able to manage your pain. Uh-huh. So I called the pre-op. I talked to them. The lady, I said, I explained what I was told, and she asked for my information. I gave it to her. She looked, and all she said was, "So-and-so told you that?" Very confused, because that would have been in the file that I had to have it at, because it would have been put in the notes. It would have been in the notes on the file, and so they're like, "What if someone call you back?" So then I'm like very suspicious, obviously. So I called the office back, the doctor's office, and I talked to the supervisor of the office, as rude as the bitch was. She told me that the reason it had to be moved to the main hospital on Monday was because the day center is not equipped to do this type of surgery. How is the day surgery center Not equipped. Alright, hon. How is the day surgery center not equipped to sedate me in twilight mode, open it up, take it out, stitch me up, dispose of the device? Now you take that into account along with what the doctor and the nurse practitioner said, along with the fact that the pre-op people are very confused as to why I was told any of it, along with the fact that after the doctor found out about my past and that he insisted that I do a liquid diet before the day before surgery. Think about what happens if you have no solid food in your stomach, right, for 24 hours before passing. A lot less mess to clean up, huh? And having it done at the hospital, it would be easier to cover up and easier to get my body to the morgue than having it at a day surgery across the street. And because I refused, they said they didn't feel comfortable doing the surgery at all. Yeah. He didn't insist on the liquid diet and that till after he found out about my past and the files. I most likely would have, yes. Or they would have tried. Do you know how easy it would be for them to do that during surgery if they had it at the hospital? You're in the surgical room. They can sedate you as much as they want, right? They wouldn't just have they could take whatever they wanted. That's one way to assure that I would be unalived, isn't it? Like, this is... So the reason I know is because I've talked about my memories on here for the past 2.5, 3 years. About year and a half, 2 years. And I've been told what I remember is in the files. I haven't read the files, nor do I have any reason to read the files, or would I ever read the files. I've seen videos talking about the things I've talked about. I've heard other survivors talk about the same things I have, and it's like, watch as many tell them what I've gone through. Not to mention the person I've known for over 20 years who turned out is in that cult. Yeah. Also, I had commented on a video of a psychic tarot reader that I follow who was talking about the files and everything, and I said I'm a survivor. I'm one of the survivors, and that they had kidnapped me and trafficked me. And they tried to sacrifice me and it failed, and they're terrified me, and apparently I'm in their book. And one of the Rothschild family members liked that comment. One of the Rothschilds liked that comment. So yeah, I can tell you where you'll find these tunnels. They're in apartments. The entrance to these tunnels. There will be their houses, but they will be turned into 2 apartments. There will be an apartment on the first floor, apartment on the second floor. The one I was taken to, that's how it was. You go up the stairs, you go through the front door of the house. There was an apartment on this side on the left where a woman lived. Now, in this case, there will always be somebody that's part of that cult that will be living in the first floor apartment, and it's to keep up appearances to where, yeah, people live upstairs, but nobody lives upstairs. But there's furniture, there's all things to appear that somebody lives upstairs. So, on this side would be the staircase going up. The banister was painted a very dark brown, maybe black. And you go all the way upstairs. I think there was like 12 to 15 steps to the apartment. You go through the apartment. I don't remember what the inside of the apartment looked like, but I do remember what the room looked like. If you're standing in the doorway of the bedroom, there's a big area over here full of toys for kids to play with. And then on the right, like smack dab in the center of the wall, like my bed is, that's where the canopy bed was. And if you look straight ahead, there's 3 or 4 steps going up, and then there's a landing. So if you go sit on the foot of the bed, the canopy bed, you look straight ahead, there's the landing, and you just go like this, and you're looking at the door. There's no dresser, there's no kids' clothes. But you open that door, and there will be religious paintings in bright, vibrant colors. The same type of paintings that you would see at a Sunday school classroom for children. That would be like that would distract the kids. Bright colors that grabs their attention. And the paintings will be on both walls, all the way down. The lady from downstairs, I told her about it because I opened the door. That's how I knew. That's how I saw it. So I opened the door myself and saw it. I was told never to open that door. They did. Hey. And so she comes up with a flashlight, bandana or whatever on her head, old clothing goes down. She's gone 2 hours, she comes back. She said there's no ending. There's no ending to this. So, but the paintings went all the way down. I remember another tunnel, but there was no paintings on the walls. It was like more of, it was deeper. Where, like, if you were gonna go through a cave, like a trail in a cave or whatever, where there would be the rocks, and there would be moisture on the rocks. And then the lights were in the center above you, of the ceiling. And I remember I wasn't walking, I was being rolled in something. I was in something or in a wheel. I was put in something, and I remember my hands and my ankles and my wrist were tied to whatever it was. That's it. You remember traumatic things, and no, it's not just from when I was 2 years old. Is that what you think? I was just trafficked at the age of 2 and that would be it? No, this continued. That apartment, Sue took me there. Sue took me there. It was after I was put in that family. It didn't just stop after they put me in that family. It continued. That's where I ended up getting the scars I have on the upper and right thigh of the leg, of my right leg. And medical people have told me from looking at the scars that they would have been from cigarettes. Well, by all accounts, because she was hell bent on me being on medication as much as humanly fucking possible until 2017. That's when she was fine with me not being on the medication anymore. She even allowed me to get my driver's license in October of 2017 and a car. So it wasn't just as a child. I remember one time I was staying at a. No, not 34. If I would be, it depends on who I am, and if I'm Patrice Lee, I would have been 37. Legally 36. I remember one time, Carol's daughter was trying out to be on Jeopardy. The first time she tried out, she got on the second time. She was actually the runner-up on one of the episodes. But it was in Kansas City that she had to do the tryouts. So they came out. Linda, me, Carol, and Stacy, we stayed at a hotel. They all stayed in the room. I slept on the couch in the living room. It was a suite or whatever. And I remember, because I was pretty out of it the majority of the time. Yeah, but as a young child, when you're beaten into submission to staying, and you don't know why, even when you leave and you keep going back and you don't understand why, it's because of things that happen to you when you're a child. I tried running away as a child several times. And every time they caught me, it was worse. Punishment. Yeah, again, I want you to think about this. I tried when I was a child and I kept getting beaten worse and worse every time. So I was conditioned. That's one thing I don't think a lot of people understand. I uh, I remember waking up and Linda was touching my arm. She woke me up. And I like, huh? She's like, are you okay? Are you okay? I was like, yeah. She said I was screaming in my sleep. I'm like, okay, I don't, you know. But if that's the case, wouldn't Carol and Stacy have heard me? No, I'm not scared. Trust and believe. I have no reason to be. Um, but if that was the case, if I was screaming in my sleep, then all three of them would have heard me, not just her. The medications I was on was to where I was sleeping 23 out of 24 hours a day. So you say you would have ran when the hour you were awake, but very incoherent, when would you have run? And you grew up you grew up believing these people are your family, and they have you believing that you need them, that nobody will ever have anything to do with you, because and they have you believing that you're crazy and everything else. I remember a lot of them. 400 milligrams of Wellbutrin, 600 milligrams of Seroquel, Haldol, gabapentin, meloxicam, methylcarbamol. Um, there were so many. Those are the ones off the top of my head. Percocet. Um, uh, there was so many. Do you know what 600 milligrams of Seroquel will do to you? I know people that took 10 milligrams and they're knocked out for days. I was prescribed 600 milligrams a night, plus everything else. This is no joke. And then Ambien on top of that, lithium, you name it, I was on it. And a lot more than that. There's the ones I can't remember. There's ones I can't even remember. She had me put on medication in 1990. That's when it all started. After the adoption. 1990, 1991. The first doctor that prescribed medication was Prozac and Ritalin. It was by Dr. Tomlinson in Loveland, Colorado. And every time the doctor would ask me how I had been doing, and if I had, I was being bullied not just at home, but at school and everything else. I was telling, and anything bad that I would tell him, he would put me on more medications. Do you know what Haldol does to someone that doesn't have schizophrenia? It makes you look like you have schizophrenia. And then they put you on more medication for other things, too. Gabapentin. I would shake all the time and tremors, and so I was put on medication for that. I never needed any of it. Now I have to take epilepsy because of the seizures of from trauma, and I take my muscle relaxers, and I take ibuprofen, and then I take supplements. That's all I take. But yeah, she always insisted on me being on medications, and if I showed any emotions other than happiness or Marsha fucking Brady or Stepford wife, you're not taking your medication, are you? Your medication isn't working. You need to be on more medication. And she always insisted on going into every appointment with me, to every doctor. She's the one that picked the doctors. I went into the psychiatrist. She was there right next to me. I'll never forget this time. I went in there. She was sitting right next to me. It was a televised visit. And he asked me how I'd been doing, and I'm starting to tell him, and he said, let me stop you right there. You don't care about anyone but yourself. You're selfish, and you're better off not here. Linda says, Heather, let's go. The time she took me to this nurse practitioner. Nurse practitioner tells me, I'm going to give you something for your migraines, an injection. It has to go at the base of your skull. I said, what is it? She says, don't worry, you'll be begging me for another one in 3 weeks. I looked at Linda and Linda says, yeah, go ahead and do it. It'll help you. She took the syringe out of her pocket. It already had the stuff in it. I was on that too, Erica. Yeah. So she took the syringe that already had whatever was in it out of her pocket, or it was either in her coat pocket or in the desk drawer. And she had me bent forward, and it went like that. She did it right here at the base of my skull. We got back to the house, and 20 minutes later, they were practically carrying me out to the car because they thought I was having a stroke. I still don't know what was in the syringe. So for anyone wondering why doctors would try and take me out, they've been trying to for a very long time. Medications, poisoning, rugging me. They've been trying to for a long time. What better way to do it if I'm having surgery, right? And they would think that no one would ever ask any questions because I don't have a emergency contact, so they think nobody would ever come looking or ever want to know what actually happened. So it'd be easy for them. So that's my reality. Need to have a foreign object removed out of my stomach, and I was stupid. I told the truth to the doctor, and then yeah. So here I am, not having surgery, and not going to have the surgery until I know I'm safe to have it. It fucking sucks, but at least at least I'll be alive. Shit, you know? So wonderful. Like, what the fuck? So, Yeah, it's better for me to be alive than, you know. So I'm gonna wait and have the surgery when I know I'm safe to have it. It's just something I never thought that I'd have to, like, I don't even know anymore, man. You know, maybe I'm tempted just to take a shower and get dressed and go down and go on the ferry and go across and just walk for a while. I mean, it's raining, but oh, who cares? It's 40 degrees. It's 40 degrees. I'll be fine. It's not freezing. Well, it feels like 35. I'll be fine. You know? So, I wish that I could see. I so wish he would come see me. I need to see him. But then again, who knows? It's like, you know. I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore, and at this point, I'm starting to wonder maybe I should just, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I'm just tired of fucking corrupt motherfuckers. All I want to do is have the surgery done, and I can't have the fucking surgery done. Go fucking figure. I want to also read this to you because I just got the notification. I commented on this page. It's Illuminati membership 666. Not kidding. I'll show you in a minute, but I'm going to read the comment. They liked the comment. I promise each and every one of you monsters that I'm going to take each and every one of you down permanently. Everything you did to all the innocent children, including myself, you will in fact pay for because I'm going to make you pay for it. After all, I am in your book. Look up what it says about Heather McCord, Heather Stacy, who was raised as Mother Hayden's great-granddaughter. You're going to pay for everything you've done because the little bindings, the little binding all you did on me. But on my picture, when I was little, I was talking to text. I meant to put God, not God. Now I'm confused because I said, here's how it came out. Because the little binding all you did on me. But on my picture when I was little is God. Now and anytime you try it again, it's going to backfire on you horrifically and on you, and it's only a matter of time, so enjoy your little time while you have left. Okay, it came out wrong because I was talking to text. But it says, look what it says, okay? They liked it. I was talking to text, and it was so long that I wasn't able to fix it. Trying to turn this around. Okay. There we go. This is what came out. This is not how I said it, but that's how it came out. And this is why it's so interesting. I'm going to okay. But it shows that one person liked it, but it doesn't say who, right? Go back. Who the fuck? They liked it, then unliked it. Because I think they realized. Because they liked it, and then they realized what I had said. Hold on. Anyway, click. They liked the comment, realized what I said, and unliked it. These are the monsters. Some of them, anyway. But as you can see, they may have done it purposely, liked it and unliked it. But it was them that liked the comment. So they know that I know. So, yeah, they wanted to make it known that I know that, yeah. So, for those of you on here that still think I'm full of shit, because I know some are, do you really think that? Do you really think that? Matter of fact, I'm going to click on the I'm going to click on the thing because I want to see if it's the same exact, because it has to be, right? Yeah, it's the same. It's the same fucking, yeah. They liked it and unliked it. I am in their book. Everything I've said has been true. Hell, supposed to have surgery, had a fuck that shit. They were gonna try and take me out. This is what I have to deal with. Not knowing who I can trust, who I can't trust. So I don't trust anybody. Except for you. Like, I don't even know. Fucking morons. I can't. Like, think about this. They were going to try to take me out during surgery because they can't take me out any other way. During surgery would be very easy. All they would have to do is take all my organs. That would be a guaranteed unaliving, wouldn't it? That would be guaranteed I wouldn't be here anymore. I'm So there's that. Yeah. Anybody doubt it now? I'm fucking. So yeah. So, nothing like, having an living threats and then having those monsters like the comments to let you know that they read your comment and they know. And they know that you know. And then one of the Rothschild family members on that other comment. And I guess it is what it is, right? Everything happens the way it's meant to. So. So I think I'm gonna end this for a bit. I need to try and eat something. Maybe get a bit elevated because I'm extremely pissed off still. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know how to feel anymore, and I'm maybe going out might do me some good. I don't know. But yeah. So I'm gonna end this for now, and when I go live again, I'll probably go on my backup account. So, or my backup account. Had to figure out which account I was on right now. Shit. Fucking nuts. By the way, honey, what is your real name? If you don't mind me asking. I requested to follow you. Maybe follow me back and you can DM me. And I don't know. I just something about you, and I can't put my finger on it. Okay. Huh. Interesting. I do have some questions for you, though. Okay. What's that got to do with anything? That's not what I was gonna ask you. I don't care what your sexual preference is. Shit. Like it doesn't bother me. I wanted to ask you about the other night. Well, I'm glad that's good. As long as you're happy. Like me, I've had exes that are bisexual. I didn't even know. But it doesn't bother me. But I do have a question for you about the other night, and I think it's more of a DM type question. But I think if you think about it, you might you might figure out what I want to ask. Anywho, don't say anything. Just yeah. So yeah. Um. I don't like this whole thing with the fucking surgeon and that, and now in realizing the motherfuckers are gonna try and fucking end me during surgery. What the fuck? This is crazy, man. I can't help but laugh. I'm sorry. It's fucking crazy. The whole thing is fucking crazy. Go from finding out I was kidnapped and then kidnapped and trafficked and so on and so forth to now everything I've said has been confirmed, and not only is it being confirmed, but I leave comments and I have the fucking Rothschilds and Illuminati fucking members fucking liking the comments. Confirming everything I've said. Me too. I'm mad, obviously, because I should have been had and done and over with. No, because it's not fucking that big of a deal, but I want it out. However, me staying alive is more important than me having it out. I guess. Right? This is fucking crazy. And I know there's going to be people still saying I'm lying and I'm this and that and the other, and obviously, nothing new. But Jesus Christ, when you have these people, these fucking cult people, fucking like, there's no going around it. There's no denying that I need a woosah, don't I? It's too bad I get censored on here. I would just do the vape thing on here, but I can't. That's what I need to do. I mean, I could. I just have to put the camera down, don't I? Then again, who knows who's on here that's been trying to fucking get me bananaed, and it's failing. Who knows? So far, I don't know if people have reported me or not, but it'd be fucking dumb at this point. You know? Shit. They're at this point, anybody who still wants to claim that I'm fucking lying or anything is full of shit. There's no... And I've never lied about any of it. And now knowing that they're most likely... My gut is telling me that that's exactly what they had planned on Monday. And knowing that, it's just like, what the fuck? And I kind of want to cry. But I don't want to cry. You know? So, yeah. So I'm going to end this, and I'm going to get elevated and probably eat the last 2 gummies and then come back live, and maybe I'll sing for a while on my backup account or something, because Jesus fucking Christ. Anyways, hope you all have a great night, and until next time, I will see y'all later. I'll be live on my main account later at some point. So, till then, I'll see y'all later. I don't know what the fuck I was trying to do, but shit. Now.